Good morning, everybody. It's Christopher from Serene Education with the 4 Majors Notes update for the 18th of October 2012. Morning, guys. Okay, let's have and see what happened on the dailies yesterday for the 4 Majors. Here in front of me, the Euro against US dollar. After that bullish engulfing pattern that we saw a couple of days ago, yesterday's candle very tentatively moving higher. It's primarily because we're moving into a prior resistance level around the 13-1500 mark. And that 13-1500 mark also constitutes to a fib retracement area that we saw from the recent high of this downtrend. You can see quite clearly we had a lot of movement to the downside before we saw this correction. So we took the high here in April of last year, 2011, to the low that we saw in July of this year, and you can quite clearly see that price is now trading roughly around the 38.2 fib retracement area. You can see before price has moved or consolidated this period over a specific period of time. So are now at a crossroads. We are looking positive. I mean, the overall downtrend's just been broken. All importantly, we're trading above the institution moving average for the first time. Well, we've maintained to trade above the institution moving average now for the best parts of the whole of September, so a full month above it. And you can see the last time we were above the institution moving average, this is way back in August, September of last year. So good things, happy days, you know. Histogram on the other side looking fantastic, and this is all looking good. We've broken the major downtrend now. The 1300, which was a major support and resistance level for the first part of this year through February, March, April, May, that's been broken. So a lot of positives here, guys. Moving average below price, everything's looking fantastic to the upside. So near term, we're looking for price to move high up towards at least the 13,500 mark. We do need to see this area here at 1315, ideally 13,200 being breached. Get above that, and then we're seeing plain sailing to the upside for the foreseeable future. We do have, related to Europe, we do have the first day of the EU Economic Summit today. So very, very important. Then we have all-important Spanish 10-year bond auction this morning, which is a tentative news announcement, so it could happen anytime. It'll probably happen sometime this morning, though, or later this morning. So, yeah, relating to Europe, at the moment now, Euro summits, economic summits, so we can see what happens over there. However, near term, we're just looking at the charts to tell you if there's any buying opportunities. Yes, everything's looking positive. However, we do need to see a break and close above this area here near term to see potential for upside to remain in favor. Otherwise, we could see price consolidating around this area here at 13,1500. So you're looking about 4 hour, for example, we've seen price now consolidating. RSI has maxed out at 70, so it has been overbought. We have seen a slight pullback. However, we can remain at the upside of this pullback and closer to 13,1500, then ultimately we could see price making a reattempt. But so we'd like to obviously have price trading above that all important 13,1500 near term, so that we can get build on that support and then push higher towards that all important 13,500 mark. Onto sterling, let's have a look and see what's happening here. Looking really good on a weekly. You can quite clearly see we have a hammer. We had 3 consecutive weeks of downside movement after the resistance level here that we reached into 16,300, and the week so far is looking good because we're getting this bullish engulfing candle. So a hammer on this 23.6 fib retracement area, and if we see a nice bullish engulfing candle, that's pretty much going to give us a nice heads up that we should be looking for upside favoritism towards that 16,300 long term. So on our daily now, let's have a look and see. So all of this bullish candle that we're seeing on the weekly is pretty much this happening over here. So have this 16,300 over here. That's pretty much the 38.2 fib retracement area. Apologies. On our long-term one, you can quite clearly see all the way back over here. For example, you can see price of it just recently breaking the 23.6 and then moving lower. But you can see early morning what we're seeing at the moment now is on 1600, nice psychological round number again. We had this morning star formation. So we had bearishness into an indecision doji on a support and resistance level, followed by a bullish engulfing candle. And that gave us a nice little indication that price was now finding a nice support and price is not going to bounce near term. So first target was back up towards the 1607 mark. Get above that, then we're trading towards this trend line support and resistance level here. And sure enough, you can see we priced yesterday, moving through it for the start of the day. However, pulling back on the US session and forming this shooting star formation now. The only thing that's going to cancel this shooting star and a potential resistance level here in terms of the trend line is a bullish engulfing candle. So what we want to see today is a nice engulfing candle to the upside. Notice the histograms and other sign on the daily still looking positive, and most importantly, all our moving averages above, still below price. So still looking good near term. Get above this little consolidation range over here, and then we can definitely look to see further upside movement towards that all important 16,300 mark at the top. On our 4-hour chart, let's see what's happened in the last 4 hours. We've had a crossroads now. We're almost getting some sort of morning star formation at the upper end of the institution moving average, which is a good sign. Now you can see that we've broken through this little trend line, the major trend line or intermediate trend line intraday. That on our 4-hour, get above it. A lot of shooting stars, indecision candles. We've had a slight pullback now, but as long as that pullback can remain above the institution moving average, then it's still looking positive. You can see in the edge on our 4-hour histograms all looking fantastic, all blue. RSI is still above the 50% line, looking fantastic. So what we want to see now on our 4-hour chart now is a nice bullish engulfing candle, which will then now confirm this is a nice juicy support, and that was on a prior resistance level, breakout, pullback, and then continuation. So a nice morning star formation, hourly, get a nice. So this candle here is going to close at 10 a.m. GMT this morning. If this momentum can continue to the upside, it's going to give us a really good all systems go candlestick to the upside. We should start looking at the price swing lows or swing. Here we go. We have one over here, noticeable one here at 16,200 to start with. Then make your way up to the next one above that at 1625 before we hit into that 1630 long term. Onto the US dollar Swiss franc. Let's have a look at the daily. Here, a nice break to the downside. Just recently, a couple of days ago, bearish engulfing candles taken us below this major support and resistance level here in the shape of the 930 mark. And now price is trading at the underside of price support here. A little consolidation support here at 925. So as long as price can remain below that now, we've seen an indecision candle yesterday. We want to see a decisive candle, and that decisive candle is now going to be the follow through from this bearish engulfing breakout that we saw at the underside of the institution. Everything's looking fantastic for further downside movement. Here you shouldn't be looking for nothing more than selling opportunities. So what we want to do now is, if you want to, is look to see a nice hourly close, or potentially it depends on your strategy. However, I want to see a nice push off the underside of the 925 now to constitute a nice entry. If not, you should be in it already if you went for the bearish engulfing candle to stop above that 935.100 mark. But at the moment now, you can see everything. Even on our 4-hour chart, for example, you can see prices now pulled back to the underside of this prior consolidation range here. Institution moving average, all the moving averages above price. RSI is well below 50, telling us sentiment is looking negative. Histograms are near term looking a bit more positive, or negative, or positive, negative, makes any sense. You can see beforehand we went to this consolidated range here, blue, red, blue, red, blue, no confirmation. Now we've had a positive confirmation that it's all negative, and we're seeing a push to the downside. So it needs to remain below that all important 925.100 mark to see a great entry to the downside. So if you're looking for an entry to the downside, wait for the bearish engulfing candle to confirm that sentiment to the downside. RSI, you can see just near term, all looking good. As we see in swing lows, swing lows, swing lows, you can see the RSI swing lowing, moving together with price, which is a good indication that price is still looking negative. We want to see now a bearish engulfing candle now to push to the underside, and then we can get a nice entry, and our risk can be halved. So if you think about it, entry here roughly around the 920 mark, stop above 925, you're not risking a hell of a lot. You're only risking 50 pips or so. And then your next target to the downside is, have a look on the daily, some way away. So looking way down here at 0.95, if anything. So it's a nice, good, that's 50. You're looking at 150 odd pips of target there. So a risk of 50 to make 150, fantastic target. Last pair of the day is US dollar Japanese yen. Let's have a look and see what's been happening on this particular pair. So far in the week, we are seeing a nice bullish engulfing candle now in support 78. It looks as though we could see price, if this maintains, we could see price moving now towards these price support and resistance levels. Previously here around about 79.50, but ultimately we should be looking at price moving towards that all important prior major support and resistance level here in the shape of the 80 mark. So now if I go to my daily chart, you can see price near term. Taking the low here in February to the high we saw in March of this year. February tracements, you can see that price has been consolidating between 2 points in the shape of the all-important 78.6 and the 61.8, but also in the shape of the institution moving average, which is above price, and the 78, which is our major support and resistance level that we've had over a number of months. It's a nice bullish engulfing candle here. You can see this upside movement now. I've seen price now moving higher, and in doing so, You can see just near term, we had a lot of low swings. Highs were getting lower, which depicted squeeze now between the lower highs. Also below the institution, you can see histogram is very much red on the other side, but we also this match support area here at 78. So one of two things was going to happen. Is either going to find support and bounce higher, or it was going to break to the downside and then continue her negativity or her negative trend to the downside. However, we saw a nice bullish engulfing candle here after 2 days of indecision, going back into 78 indecisive, and then we had a major breakout with this nice bang, and then that's now moved above all the moving averages, and it's now confirmed that price is moving higher, and we should be targeting the first, well, the second fib, or back up towards the 50% line. Sorry, the 61.8 line here, which will come into contact with the 61, the institution moving average. But as long as this maintains the upside, then we should be looking at price moving back towards the prior major support and resistance level, as I mentioned, which is the shape of the 80 mark. A lot of consolidation here previously, so get above that, and then we should be heading towards that all-important 80. So that's it for today, guys. Please be aware we are seeing the first day of the EU Economic Summit today, and we also have the Spanish the auction, bond auction, 10-year bond auction. So very, very important to be aware of it. Also the EU Economic Summit. I think we are seeing Merkel speaking at 8 a.m. GMT this morning. So she's actually talking right now as we speak. She's going to be talking just prior to the EU Summit. So heads up, just wait and see if there's any news that you might talk about. But other than that, we have the Spanish publishing bad loans data at 9 a.m. GMT. We have, as I mentioned, Spain selling 3 to 4 and 10-year bonds. That's going to be quite interesting to see how they come out. But other than that, we have sterling, we have retail figures month on month, year on year, September, etc. Then going into this afternoon, we have the US data. We have initial jobs claims. We have leading indicators. But we also have the Philadelphia Fed reading. So a lot of news this afternoon for the US market as well. So be in tune with all that. If you are using this template, guys, please follow the rules of it. It's very, very important. There are 4 guidelines that you need to know about and you need to exercise in order for the template to work. Be aware of them and then back it up with sound management. Other than that, have a fantastic trading day, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Until then, trade serenely.